Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So today's reading that we have for you today is a pick a shell, and we are going to be taking a look at your strongest spiritual gifts. So I personally believe that spiritual gifts are much like our earthly skills in that anybody could become good at any skill if they practice and work at it. But there are just certain people who are naturally very good at certain skills. So in the same way, you guys can develop any spiritual gift that you want. You are definitely not limited to the gifts that appear in this reading, but what we're taking a look at today is those gifts that you are just naturally very strong at. And today's reading is a collaboration with my dear friend Kim, who is also a card reader on YouTube. She is a beautiful soul, and I'm so happy to be working with her today and to introduce those of you who are not familiar yet to her talents. And I'm just so grateful that we encountered in this lifetime. So her video is going to be how you can develop these gifts, how you can become aware of them and strengthen them and use them to your best potential. Yes. So if you guys feel called to watch her video after this one, it will be linked down below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and show you guys our shells. There are 4 shells for you guys to choose from, and I'm going to show you each of them close up one by one so you can get a good look, and then please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. If you feel drawn to more than one, there may be messages for you in several of these readings, and you may just be a very, very gifted person. So yeah, here is shell number 1. Here is shell number 2. Here is shell number 3. And here is shell number 4. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones. So this reading is for those of you who were drawn to this shell. So let's get right into it. We're going to start by taking a look at your oracle cards, and then we'll get into the tarot cards so that we can see what your strongest spiritual gifts are. So your very first card is Gaia with the message, "The frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother and to the universe that birthed us all." For your crystal, we have watermelon tourmaline. We have divine feminine. Spirit of earth. Release the tension, relax your face and shoulders, let it all go, surrender. And then we have communication and rest. Okay, so the first thing that is standing out to me is that you have 2 cards that show some message of your connection to Earth. We have, of course, the Spirit of Earth here, and then we have Gaia, which is the first card that came out. This tells me right away that you guys have a very beautiful connection to our Mother Earth. So this is going to sound kind of weird, but when I think of Mother Earth, I think of a very nurturing and abundant and generous and protective sort of energy, because she is like our shelter. And what I wanted to say is I think that your energy is very similar to her. Like, your energy is very similar to Mother Earth in that you are a very generous soul, that you are very abundant, that you are fertile, meaning that any ideas or dreams that you plant, so to speak, will grow fruit and pay off. You might be an excellent manifester, you might be a healer or a protector. I think that you'll have a very strong connection to the elements. And I even think that Mother Earth will use the elements to speak to you. So you might be somebody who gets a lot of signs, for example, by seeing rainbows or experiencing a sun shower or having a beautiful breeze blow past you. You may be somebody who receives signs by animals behaving strangely around you or animals taking a liking to you. I think you have a connection to animals as well. And you guys could also be very good at making tinctures, I think that's the word, or maybe potions, or doing spells with nature. So using leaves, flowers, herbs, rainwater, things like this. Their power lends itself very, very well to you. You're very good at working with nature and working with the elements. And in fact, part of your soul's purpose might have something to do with protecting and healing the earth, the environment, or protecting and healing the people on earth. I feel like you do have a very soothing presence to people, and I'm sort of being shown so let's say a deer, for example, because deers are very skittish and jumpy and scared, and they would probably run away from most people, or like rabbits or something like that, or little chipmunks. And I am seeing you guys kind of like a Disney princess where animals are not afraid of you. They really, really take a strong liking to you, and they feel safe to approach you and make direct eye contact. So you might really find that they behave differently around you. And I'm getting the same thing even for humans. If there's this baby who is really crying and freaking out, if they're in your arms, they will just calm down and fall asleep like that. So you have some kind of very, very soothing and harmonious energy to you. So I think that's what these two cards are expressing here. And this Spirit of Earth card as well, this also reminds me of power spots on the earth. So these are spots on earth that are said to have a very powerful energy. And I feel like you guys could have a very good sense for that. So if you're walking through the mountains or walking through a forest, you can sense oh wow, there's a very high vibrational energy here. This is a spot that can charge me. I think you have a good way of sensing what positions and what environments have good energy, where the energy is flowing well. Now that I think about it, you may even have a gift for feng shui, which is even organizing interior spaces and aligning people with a good environment for their energy. So you have a really good sense for how energy moves and flows and how to match it. So I feel like you just create peace and harmony wherever you go. And that's why people feel very peaceful and soothed around you. Now, looking at these cards over here, the Watermelon Tourmaline and the Divine Feminine, both of these have an emphasis on the heart. The Watermelon Tourmaline with its beautiful pink and green color, these are colors that relate to the heart chakra. So I feel that this energy center is very, very strong in you guys. I believe that you would have the ability of being an empath as well as clairsentience, meaning that you have a way of knowing how people are feeling, even if they're not expressing it. And in fact, even if they're not even physically with you, you can just pick up on their emotions. And that's clairsentience. But as an empath, you may also pick up other people's emotions and feel them as your own. I think you're very, very sensitive to emotions in this way. And if you guys were ever a reader, if you wanted to share your psychic abilities, I think that you would be very good at those messages of how is this person feeling, or what's going through this person's mind, or what are the energies of this connection. With the card of the two people facing each other like this, coming together to see eye to eye and connect their hearts, I think you're very, very good at conveying people's emotions and people's desires. You're very good at reading about connections and compatibility and relationships, because I think the same way you can match people's energy to an environment, you can also match people's energy to each other. And you may even have a really good sense when you see people, even if you don't know them that well, oh, I would be really compatible with this person, I would really get along with them. Even if you just saw their picture or something, it's your psychic sense, or you could tell these two people would get along or these two people wouldn't. And I feel like you can get the vibe of people pretty quickly, like if this is someone you want to have around you or not, because you're just always, you have those antennas up. So the Divine Feminine as well has a heart on here, which I think is extra confirmation of you guys having a very strong heart chakra. And the Divine Feminine energy, I think it goes very well with this Mother Gaia energy. So again, this is a nurturing and caring energy. It's very healing. The Divine Feminine energy is also quite receptive. And I feel like when it comes to receiving your blessings and when it comes to receiving the answers that you need, probably all you need to do is just be in a state of receptiveness. And your gift is that you don't have to go out of your way or go out there to search for what you need. You just have to be still, and the abundant universe is going to give it to you. Same thing with resources, same thing with answers and information. If you don't know something, you just need to sit with the question and the universe will tell you. The answer will come to you. So there may be a little bit of claircognizance here as well. I also think with this Divine Feminine energy, you guys might be very creatively gifted. I'm not sure how many of you have explored that part of you, but I feel creativity here. I felt fertility here. So I think you guys are very, very creative if that was ever something that you wanted to explore. Okay, so I want to move over now to, let's talk about this communication and rest. I feel like you guys get a lot of messages if you are in a meditative state or if you are sleeping. You will have answers come to you. So if there's ever like a problem in your life, you can't figure out what your next step is, or there's an answer that you're seeking, rather than like tiring yourself out and scouring all corners of the world looking for it, I feel like you just need to go to sleep, or you just need to go and meditate. And then somebody will come forward and give you the answer. With this communication here, I do think when you are in a resting state, you are coming into contact with spirits and with benevolent beings who want to help you. And with this card as well, release the tension, relax your face and shoulders, let it all go, surrender. I feel like your gifts come to you the most when you are in a relaxed state. The messages that you need to hear come when you are relaxed. I think this card can speak to that, but it can also be speaking to the fact that you guys are, as we have said many times, that you have a very soothing and healing energy about you. And this communication card, actually, it could also be speaking of your ability to help people see eye to eye. As we can see, both of these cards have some image of people coming together. And I think actually one of your spiritual gifts is your incredible compassion. I'm looking back to this Gaia card and I'm seeing the number 28, which adds up to 1. And so I'm feeling this message of like all beings on Earth are one. Like everybody who calls Mother Gaia home, we are all one. And I think you guys really see the oneness in everybody. I think you guys are not the type to judge and say like this person is good, this person is bad, but rather these people have just had different experiences and they have different truths. So your compassion and your empathy is definitely one of your divine gifts. So this is all I'm seeing for the oracle cards so far. So let's take a look now at the tarot cards that you guys have and see a little bit more into your spiritual gifts. So here we have the High Priestess. I'm not surprised to see this. In my opinion, the High Priestess is like the most psychic being of anybody in the tarot deck. I don't know, maybe, well, you know what, because she is the symbol of intuition, she is the symbol of being connected to our inner guidance, and she's also a representation of the Divine Feminine. She's the number 2, which has feminine energy. She matches very well to the energy that we've already seen here. I'm seeing here an emphasis on your third eye as well, because she has this shining light on her forehead, and maybe that's what all of these eyes were trying to tell us as well. It's like when your physical eyes are shut, your third eye opens and you can receive a ton of messages. I'm being told that if you ever wake up after sleep and you don't feel very rested, it's probably because you were receiving downloads all night, or like you were astral projecting, or you were lucid dreaming or something. Maybe your mind is very, very active in the nighttime. But again, the high priestess is a sign of receptivity. Normally we see her, she's like sitting on her throne and she's waiting for you to come forward to her. So I feel like one of your gifts in this lifetime is that you will not have to like go to very enormous lengths to get what you need. That doesn't mean that you haven't gone to extraordinary lengths in your life, but I'm feeling like when you're in your power, you don't have to. Like, you can just sit there, okay, this isn't here in my life and I want it, and just sit there and the universe will bring it to you. Like, I'm really thinking of how like Disney princesses have their animals around them who are helping her out. Like, wasn't it the animals who made, oh God, it's gonna be so awkward if I'm wrong, but wasn't it animals who made Cinderella's dress? I'm gonna have to look that up after. But what I'm trying to say is, when you want something, when you will something, when you desire something, the world just conspires to bring it to you. And if you guys have been like feeling like you're really working hard and really draining yourself to get what you want, I want to tell you that this is not necessary, especially with this card that's just talking about releasing, letting it all go, surrendering. Just try letting go, try surrendering, and see how things around you just rearrange and work out in your favor. Maybe it's a little bit dramatic to say that you can manifest without lifting a finger, but I think that you can manifest by only taking actions that feel good or feel natural to you, and you have a lot of support from the world around you. Like, the universe conspires for you to bring you whatever you want. Here we have the Page of Crystals. So this is an interesting one because this talks about like our skills that we are developing or projects that we are working on, but more in the 3D or like practical sense. So what I'm thinking here with this card is that one of your spiritual gifts is actually like one of your skills, and it may not even seem like a spiritual thing, but your guides are showing me that yes, this is a spiritual gift. Like, maybe I can give an example. Like, for example, tarot reading would be kind of an inherently spiritual skill, but like cooking or something, it's not necessarily like, oh, that person is spiritually gifted, but they're showing me that like this gift of cooking or whatever it is for you is actually either something that you've cultivated from past lives or something that a higher being is helping you with. And I think for many of you guys, this is something that you might not even know you have yet, but you admire people who do it. Because I see two people in this card who are mirroring each other, and it's like they have the same skill, they bring the same value to the world. So just for an example of cooking, again, like let's say you are a foodie, like you love eating delicious food, and you're like, yeah, I love food, but I'm not much of a cook myself. But you like admire people who can cook really well. And your guides are like, no, but you actually have that skill too. So maybe you just haven't discovered it yet, or you haven't developed it yet, or like maybe you really, really appreciate art. You love painting. You really admire people who can paint, but you're like, oh my gosh, I suck at drawing and painting. And it's like, no, the reason you admire those people so much is because your soul recognizes their own natural gift within them and is like waiting for you to discover it and bring it out. So one of your spiritual gifts is actually like a skill that is not inherently spiritual, but like I said, it's like you know how to do it naturally from a past life, or you might be like channeling a higher being when you do it, especially if it's like related to art or something. You might be bringing forth ideas and bringing forth creations from a higher being without even really knowing what you're doing, but it just turns out amazing. The next card for you guys is the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is definitely a card that when it comes to spiritual gifts, it would indicate an empath to me. So I know that we've already talked about that a little bit earlier in this reading, but this is definitely a confirmation for me. This can also be a confirmation that you guys are creatively talented, because I do think of the Page of Cups as like a creative or an artistic person. The fact that these are both coming out as pages though, it's like you guys either don't know that you have these gifts or you haven't really developed them yet. Like you're just scratching the surface of what you're capable of. So like I said, for many of you, maybe it's like you think you're not good at it, but you really admire people who are. Or maybe you think like, oh, it's just a hobby that I do sometimes. I'm not that great. But the truth is that you're capable of so much more when it comes to these skills. And yeah, it's like tip of the iceberg. You're what is it called? Exponentially better than you might realize. And then finally we have the Three of Swords. So this is a card that talks about like sadness, heartbreak, negative emotions. And when I see it next to the Page of Cups, which is like your empathic energy, this might be a little bit of a protection message from your spirit guides. You know, we've been talking about the oneness and the harmony on earth, but the truth is that there's also a lot of sadness on earth. There's also a lot of broken hearts, there's a lot of negativity, pessimism, there's a lot of corruption is the word that's coming to my mind. I guess like energetic corruption. Okay, well, there's a lot of negativity in the world, in the third dimension, and with you guys being so sensitive, like we've seen so much throughout this reading that you're very sensitive to emotions and to the energies around you. I think you'll need to be careful because you could easily get overwhelmed if you are surrounded by negativity. So I think you will need to actively ask your spirit guides, also your ancestors are coming to mind, actively ask them to protect you. If you're going into a meditation where you're hoping to come into contact with a spirit or you're hoping to have a vision, please make sure that before you go into it, you ask for protection. Especially if you're astral projecting, because I've heard that some kind of weird stuff can go on there. So make sure that you're always asking for protection, really, like make it a daily habit so that this negative energy doesn't cling on to you. I'm being shown that some of you guys, it's like you don't even realize that this negative aspect has leached onto you from somewhere else. So the example that I'm being shown is like maybe you guys just think like, oh, I'm always tired, I'm always fatigued, I'm always sleepy, like that's just how I am, I've always been like that. And the truth is that no, that's not you. It's because you have like debris of negative energy around you that is weighing you down, that comes from other people or that comes from places outside of you. And if you were to clear that and protect yourself from that, you'd actually find that you're very alert and energized and focused in the day. But it's because you need to cleanse it, and you may actually need to cleanse your space more often than other people. Like you may need to sage your house, or you may need to bathe in full moon water. I'm not sure if this is the sun or the moon, honestly, but I see the full moon here. You may want to do banishing rituals on the full moon as well to clear away negative energy from you. And I also want to say, you will need to work on your boundaries, because the Page of Cups is very sensitive and compassionate and kind and caring and loving, but she is a page, so she can be a little bit juvenile or a little bit naive sometimes, and maybe not know where to stop or how to use her gifts in a healthy way and make sure that she is still caring for herself. Yes, you have a gift of bringing people together. Yes, you have a gift of empathizing with people, and you have a gift of clearing away negative energy from spaces, clearing it away from your environment and bringing in a more harmonious energy. But I feel like it's very exhausting for you guys to do that. Like speaking for myself, if I do a really long reading or I'm channeling a lot, I'll be like wiped after, because it takes energy. Using our gifts, you know, it takes a toll on our physical body. So it's important for you to recognize that you're not like obligated all the time to be cleansing people and cleansing spaces just because you can, and you're allowed to just remove yourself, you know. You're allowed to remove yourself from that situation. You're allowed to preserve your energy. I feel like this group in particular, you may want to really keep your circle of close ones pretty small, pretty tight knit. You may even be a little bit of a hermit. You may be somebody who feels like a lot more comfortable around animals than people, or in nature than around people, because, and it's not that you don't love people, but it's that a lot of people harbor this negative energy, which is just like, I think it's too much for you guys, because you do kind of have a sensitive or delicate system, I should say. So just keeping that in mind, like with great gifts comes great responsibility to protect ourselves and make sure that we are caring for ourselves in the right way. So this is what I'm seeing for you guys. These are all the messages I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. What do I say? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely check out Kim's video if you feel called to. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number twos. So if you guys were drawn to this shell, then this is going to be your reading. So we're going to start by taking a look at your oracle cards, and then we'll get into your tarot cards so that we can see what your strongest spiritual gifts are. So let's get right into it. Your very first oracle card is Change, with the message, "The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new." For your crystal card, we have Amber, we have Focus, Peace Pipe, we're all just trying to get back to where we came from. And then finally, we have Spirit and Birth. All right, so the very first thing I'm noticing with all these cards is that there seems to be a pretty strong orange motif going on. Like if we look at the first 4 cards that came out, they all have this beautiful warm orange hue. So this can tell me a lot about the energy of you guys. The first thing I want to say is that I think you guys are incredibly talented and incredibly creative. And there's also a quality to you that is very uplifting or inspiring to people, almost as if just by being around you, people can raise their vibration or people can lift their mood. And I'm almost seeing this image that we have here as like people are gravitating towards you. Like you're in the center here, and these are all like souls that want to be around you because you just have such an uplifting and cheerful energy. I also think that you guys might be very physically attractive, and I don't know if that's necessarily a spiritual ability, but I think that many people find you very attractive, very cool. They want to be around you. You might have a smile or a laughter that is infectious to people, so whenever somebody finishes an interaction with you, it's like they're gonna walk away so much lighter on their feet. They're gonna walk away with the smile on their face. I feel like you guys also have a divine gift of making people laugh. And I do think that this is a spiritual gift, even if it doesn't really inherently sound like one. You guys might have spirit guides who are like super playful and rambunctious, and maybe they communicate a lot to you through like jokes and even like sarcasm and things like that. But of course, doing it in a loving way. And I feel like by you hanging around these spirit guides a lot, you guys just have a really great sense of humor. And when somebody here on earth is going through a tough time, it's like, how can I say? Because making light of the situation sounds like you're belittling it. It's more like you are shedding light on the situation and making people feel like, okay, we can still laugh at this. There is still a brighter tomorrow. It's not so heavy. I don't have to be so sad. This is the kind of quality that you guys have to cheer people up and to raise people's vibration. And I also want to say with this change card, with, oh my gosh, yeah, with the number 3, because 12 adds up to 3. This is a number of expansion and manifestation. So I think you guys are very, very powerful manifestors, and you can completely transform any situation that you are in. Some of you guys may be very strong when you practice the law of attraction, but I'm also picking up on some kind of like changing timeline or moving to parallel reality kind of vibes, where it's like you can completely change the fabric of your reality, even to something that doesn't make any sense. So how can I explain it? Like, let's say something went really, really bad one day. You can be like, no, it's okay. I can undo this. I can go to a different reality where this didn't happen. And you go to bed and you wake up and it's like the problem never happened. So it's like you're literally bending reality. I hope you guys can understand what I mean, because it's a little bit of an abstract concept to describe. But you have this incredible command over like shifting what has happened or shifting what will happen, and it's really, really cool to see. So over here with focus, I think this is also talking about your very, very strong ability to set intention. You're probably very strong visualizers, and you can bend your reality just with your focus. We have the number 37 here, which adds up to 1. This is a number of initiative, of action taking. It's the number of the magician in tarot. So I feel like you guys are very powerful when it comes to taking actions from yourself. Like, you can manipulate the reality in front of you to be whatever it is that you want. And not only can you do this for yourself, but you can do this for other people. I'm just looking at this huge heart that is on top of the person's head. And I feel that you guys do have an enormous compassion for others, and you could use your manifesting abilities and your reality shifting abilities to help others to get out of tough times or to bring blessings to them, which is really, really cool. The stone amber as well, this is a stone that brings a lot of positivity to us, and it helps to clear and drain away our negativity. So I think that you would be able to, for example, clear away psychic attacks that are on other people, clear away any negative energy that is hanging around them. I'm also getting that you guys might be able to see people's auras. You can see what color they are. You can see if they are vibrant and healthy, or if they're a little bit cloudy, or if they have holes in them. You may even be able to fix them, because you have this ability to restore health and positivity to other people. And forget about putting a psychic attack on you, okay? Like, you can clear them away from other people, but I feel like if anybody tries to mess with you, it's just going to bounce right back off to them. You guys are heavily protected. I feel like negativity really cannot permeate you guys. There's another message for you, that you may actually be able to heal physical ailments. So if there's something that is like hurting you in your body, there's some discomfort, there is some sickness, with your focus and your intention, you're able to heal it. And yes, you may actually be able to do this for other people as well. So moving down here to the peace pipe, this is exactly what it sounds like. This is living in peace. This is living with acceptance of yourself and acceptance of others. And when I put this together with the message of we're all just trying to get back to where we came from, I think you guys are very good at understanding people's actions, understanding where they are coming from, and not trying to change them, because you guys are so powerful that you can really manifest anything from yourself. And I feel like you guys don't need to rely on others or expect so much from others to get to where you need to go. And I feel like you're able to not like resent people or hold grudges to people. You're just at peace. Like, if you've shown me this is how you are, I respect that, but I'm going to move on along on my boat. I feel like you move through life without any really strong attachments, because you know that anything you need can come from you, and anything you want to create can come from you. So this is a very like empowered and independent and unbothered kind of energy. And I think that, yes, this is a spiritual gift, because this is something that you guys have likely cultivated over many, many lifetimes. And speaking of this, getting back from where you come from, another gift that you guys might have, and wow, you guys have a lot of gifts, you might actually be able to access your past lives. So you can figure out like if there is some recurring pattern in your life, or some relationship that you feel is very, very significant in your life, you are able to look back and see where this came from, like where you've been before and how it's affecting you now and how it's going to affect where you're going in the future. You guys could be a very, very gifted past life reader. And again, as I keep saying for your gifts, this is true for you and this is also true for other people. So if you ever wanted to like make a career of your gifts or use it to help others, I think a service that you guys could easily offer is past life regressions, as well as energy work, like clearing negative energy from people. I'm also looking at this spirit card over here, and you guys might have some talent with your hands as well. It's like spirit can come through with your hands, because we see this eye that is on the hand. So for example, Reiki, you guys could be very good at Reiki, or massage, or craniosacral therapy is coming to me as well, which I'm not really sure what that entails, but you're basically relieving stress in the body by doing like a light treatment. You're touching people. You know what, we're gonna just cut that off, but maybe that's coming to me because of all of this orange energy, which is related to the sacral chakra. You guys could even be good at like, what is it called? Chiropractics? Yes. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a spiritual practice, but I feel that there is some way in which you could use your hands to bring positive energy to people. Could even be like creating art with your hands, because many people could consume your art and feel like they're being uplifted or feel like they are being cleansed. So definitely you guys are incredibly talented, and I think especially you guys have talented hands. And interestingly, if we put these together, like spirit birth, it does make me think of an incarnation. So I think you guys definitely have some knowledges on people's like numerous incarnations. You might even be able to feel someone's energy and know like where they have come from, like what their starseed origin is, or whether they are a light worker. It's like you just have a feel for where this spirit was born from, literally. And you know what? I'm about to add on another gift to this. This is like a really, really impressive pile, but I'm just looking at all of these eyes here, and even the eye on the hand, and feeling that you guys are very strong clairvoyants. Now, I will admit a lot of the cards on this deck have eyes, but like, look at how many freaking eyes are on this card. It's like you have eyes going out everywhere. I feel like in particular, you guys are able to get very clear visual images of what is happening in the soul world. This is going to sound very strange and very specific, but sometimes we hear about like council meetings that go on between angels, or between ascended masters, between spirit guides, or even between like the next wave of light workers that is going to incarnate. Like the little unborn spirit babies are having like a council meeting. These kind of meetings often happen in the soul world. And with all of these eyes around, I feel like there is some way that you guys are able to join them. Like you're able to transport from the 3D and see what they're talking about, almost as if you're getting like a scoop, an inside scoop of what is going to happen on Earth before it happens, because they will be discussing like what downloads are we going to send down there, what massive changes are coming for the world next. So you guys might actually be able to do really amazing predictions for the collective, and like major shifts that are happening on a global scale. Because like you get invited to the meeting and you get to sit at the table and you get to see what everybody is talking about. I feel like you guys are also able to visualize what is happening on Earth. So I mean, use this for good, obviously, but I feel like you guys might have the gift of being able to sort of spy on people in the 3D. Like if you are wondering what so-and-so is doing, you can close your eyes and focus on them, and you'll actually be able to see like where they are and what they're up to, which is interesting that's kind of a cool gift, and I feel like it's kind of rare. I don't feel like I see that that often. And then a final interpretation I could think of for all of these eyes around here is just that you guys are very, very heavily watched over. This is probably the reason that you're so heavily protected from psychic attacks and why you are so gifted. I feel like there are many guides who are lending you a helping hand. So I really, really love this energy. I feel like you guys are such an attractive person. Like people just, and I mean that like from the inside out, people just gravitate towards you because they really, really want to be around your beautiful, infectious energy. So this is what I see so far for your oracle cards. So in part 2 of this reading, we're going to be taking a look at your tarot to see if there's anything else that you should know about your spiritual gifts. So the first card that we have here is the Page of Swords. This is really cool for me because this kind of has a specific meaning to me when it comes to spiritual gifts, and we are about to add on another one for you guys. And this is the ability to mentally send messages to people or to telepathically communicate with people. So for example, if somebody is going through a tough time, you could like remotely send them a message of love and healing, and they will actually pick up on that and start to feel better. Or and again, I feel like, because you guys are so powerful, and I feel like I don't need to tell you, but as I'm reading it, like these are a lot of gifts that could be used in questionable ways depending on who has them. I'm not saying you guys are going to do that, but it's like the ability to bend reality and to shift timelines, the ability to see what people are doing, and you also have the ability to send like mental notes to people through telepathy. So you could easily manifest like somebody reaching out to you or somebody offering you an opportunity, or you could use it to, you know, send messages for other people to be happy and to be confident and to heal. But it's like you can plant seeds. You can plant little seeds in in people's minds, and if other people are tapped in as well, then you guys could have like a network where you are sending messages to each other. And it's interesting that there are 3 people on this card. That's kind of like unique to this deck. So maybe you have some like soul family members out here on earth, and because you're all tapped in this way, you can actually have like mutual telepathic conversations. And it will be so cool because like when you meet in person, when you meet face to face in the 3D, you can be like, oh, you sent me some message yesterday, right? You told me blah blah blah, and it's like, yep, that's what I told you. Or you could even like meet on the astral plane and like have experiences, and then when you meet in the 3D, you just like pick up where you left off from the astral realm. So for those soul family members who are on the same level as you, you can have these mutual exchanges. But even if people aren't so like awake in that sense, I do feel like you're able to like one-sidedly send the messages. Oh, and something else just came to me, which is really cool. Back to being able to meet and converse on the astral realms, you may actually be able to do healing work for others in the astral realm. And this is actually a gift that I just learned about because my friend Nirvana Vibes, who also has a YouTube channel, she's a card reader as well. She came to me in my dream and she did some cord cutting for me. And I woke up and I was like, what? And I messaged her, you were in my dream last night. Like you came to me and you did a cord cutting session for me. And she was like, oh yeah, I do that. Like I show up in people's dreams and I help them heal. So this might be something that you guys are able to do with your focus as well. So if you know somebody who's going through a really tough time, you could set the intention to appear to them in their dream and plant positive seeds in their head. Because as you might know, like when we're in that dreaming state, our unconscious is more permeable, or when we're in that resting state where our conscious mind is shut off, intentions or suggestions can enter into our mind easily because that our guard isn't up, our resistance isn't there. So you see, you could definitely use this for a lot of good in the world. I'm sure you have these gifts because you are a trusted soul and your guides know that you're going to use these gifts for good. But oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay. And then the next card that we have is the Four of Wands. And this is actually another card that makes me think of unions and community. So for me, this may be another little confirmation that you guys do have a soul family out there, a group of a few individuals who are just as gifted as you. You're all kind of cut from the same cloth, and you may meet each other through working together or through some sort of creative collaboration, or you may be a part of the same community, like where you're both passionate about the same thing, like you're both fans of astrology, or you're both fans of, I don't know, you could even be fans of like the same artist and you meet that way. But I feel like there's others. There's others of you out there who are looking for you. You'll be able to bond over your crazy experiences. And the Four of Wands in general, this is a card of contentment, of happiness, of pure joy. So this really just goes back to confirm like all of this beautiful energy we saw before with the orange color. I could say that you guys are literally like a ray of sunshine. You bring so much warmth to others, and I think you may also have a gift of helping people to find their passion and to ignite their talent. And now I'm thinking of Luna Tarot, who is another friend of mine, but Luna Tarot is all about igniting people's passion and helping people to awaken and develop their talents. I feel like you guys could be very, very gifted in this as well. The next card that we have is Oppression. This is the Devil in the traditional tarot, and I actually just want to peek at the next one to see what's going on with this Devil card. So we have, in addition to it, the Four of Cups. So, okay, the oppression person is holding the planet Earth here. Maybe this is talking about, so you guys are very gifted and very powerful. You're very unique, and maybe at times you feel that this world is kind of, I don't know if oppressive is the right word, but maybe you feel that the energy of this earth is very heavy. You feel that it weighs you down. You may even just at times feel like it's boring, or it's a drag, like it's too low vibe. Maybe some of you guys have felt that you don't really like the energy here. But with the Four of Cups, this card usually brings us a message that there is something that you're not seeing to this situation. Often we would see that Spirit is offering this person a cup and she's not looking at it, she's not taking it. And this is a gift from Spirit. You guys may, and maybe this is just a specific message for some of you, but you may need to shift your perspective as to like the fact that you are on this earth, or the reason that you are on this earth, because maybe some of you guys feel like it's such a bummer that you're here. Like, why did I incarnate here? The energy is so heavy. Some of you guys may even feel like it's a punishment to be here, and that might be really, really specific, but you just feel kind of meh about the 3D and about the earth, not really seeing why you are here. And I think the perspective shift, or what you're not seeing that the Four of Cups is talking about, it's that the very reason you are here is because of your gifts, is so that you can realize just how powerful you are. And I hope that I can explain this well, but for example, if you were existing in a very, very high vibe world where everybody could just create whatever they wanted at the drop of a hat, and everybody was happy, there was no resistance, there were no blockages, there was no fear, would you really have a sense of like how special that is or how powerful you are? I think it's like the fact that you're in this environment and you can do all of these amazing things, it's to provide contrast for you so that you can truly see how amazing you are and how strong you are. And if there's something that you're not liking in this world, it's because you are meant to use your powers to change that and to improve that. So it's not like the world is trying to oppress you or punish you or anything like that. This is your gift. Like, this is your world that you can mold and that you can shift and that you can grow into whatever you want. So I know that sometimes being on this earth may feel disempowering, but I feel like what your guides are trying to show me here is that this is meant to be an empowering experience for you. And it's just a matter of It's just a matter of your perspective, recognizing your light within, recognizing how strong you actually are. And maybe some of you guys haven't really realized this yet, and that you are not here to be tied down. You're actually here to create a new world. And I feel like maybe a lot of you guys haven't met this soul family yet. And I think that once you do, it's going to make this a lot easier, because I feel like when we're down, one of the biggest steps, or a really big step, is just realizing that we're not alone in that. Just that in itself can make us feel so much better. So I think it's going to get a lot easier when you find your community and you have so much to talk about, you have so much to bond over, that maybe you don't see the world in the same way as everybody else, or a lot of things have happened to you that make you feel weird or crazy, but you're not alone in that. And realizing like, we have the power to change this world. We have the power to uplift this world. And we're not to be brought down by the way the world is, but see it as an opportunity to work our magic, basically. I hope that I was explaining that all right. And I also really hope that this reading didn't get too rambly, because I can't help it, because you guys have so many gifts and they all just came to me one after the other after the other. No doubt you guys are incredibly talented in so many aspects, and you are such an inspiration to so many people. I really cannot stress that enough. And I really think that in this lifetime, you guys are meant to shine. You're meant to be like the sun, where everybody can see you and everybody can bask in your warmth. The sun is even like Leo energy, which is being in the spotlight, showing off your talents, showing off your creativity. This lifetime, when you start to embrace and really work with your gifts, I feel like this lifetime can be such a blast for you. Like, your guides really want you to know this lifetime is meant for you to be fun. And again, when this soul family comes in, I feel like things are going to get a lot more fun. It's like the world is your playground. The world is your creation. Wow. Okay, so these are all the messages that I'm seeing for you guys. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely check out Kim's video as well. If you feel called to do that, it will be linked down below. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a cards where you get to choose a topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number threes. So if you guys were drawn to this shell, this is going to be your reading. So we're going to start off this reading by taking a look at your oracle cards, and then we'll get into your tarot cards so that we can see what your strongest spiritual gifts are. Just before we get into the cards, there's actually one message that I have for you guys, and I'm being shown that when you guys channel messages, you will feel some really distinct sensations in your physical body. So for example, if you are channeling a message, you might start to feel pressure in your head, or even like a headache, or you might feel that your body is starting to heat up. There's something about like your sense of touch that is connected to your psychic abilities. And in fact, you may even be able to feel like if a spirit is touching you, like you can feel an embrace from your guardian angels. You can feel their hands on you. You may feel some warmth or tingling, or you may get chills when you are picking up on something. So there's some very strong connection between like the sensations in your physical body and what you are processing spiritually that I was called to relay to you guys. So if you ever get like a weird sensation in your body and you think like, am I sick? Am I crazy? What's going on? It's probably a spirit trying to communicate with you. So that's the first message for you guys. Okay, so also you guys have some gift, and I don't even know, maybe you would call this claircognizance, but meeting someone for the first time, or even just like seeing somebody out in public and weirdly knowing details about them. Whether it's something really dumb like, oh, that person just came from the grocery store, or like that person is struggling in their career. Little things like that might pop into your head when you meet somebody. It's not necessarily useful information to you, so it might come as a kind of weird, like, why am I being shown this? But that's just something that might happen to you guys every now and then. The same way random stuff is popping into my head before I even look at the cards. This is probably what it's like to be you guys. So with that in mind now, let's take a look at the cards. I did want to mention every now and then I glance up at the camera timer when I'm talking, just to make sure like everything is in focus. I look at the screen and then I can see like the numbers on the timer, and I've already seen 111 and 222 since I started this reading, so you guys might get a lot of messages from angel numbers too. But anyway, so that was a little bit of rambling to get started. So let's finally take a look at your oracle cards. So the first card we have for you is Emergence, with the message, the frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. For your crystal, we have Opal. I think this is a birthstone. I don't know which month it is, but just in case that is confirmation for some of you that this is your pile, or there may be somebody who is watching over you from the other side who was born in the Opal month. I'm gonna put a subtitle at the bottom because I honestly don't remember which month it is. So just in case, I'm gonna put it here. Your next oracle card is Nourish, Sweat Lodge, the love within you is infinite, share it freely with the world. And finally, we have Abundance and Structure. All right, so I want to start off with the Emergence card that came out at the beginning, because this was a card that was talking about approaching life with a childlike attitude. And what I felt right away when I looked at this card is that you guys were likely very psychic children. And I don't mean this to roast you, but you guys might have been kind of like weird children or like eccentric, because you were kind of half living here and kind of half living in the other dimensions. Opal as well, this is a card that helps us to bring out our individuality and our confidence. So this is giving me the feeling that you guys were very unique, like you had a very distinct personality. And this is also a crystal that helps us to bridge between different dimensions as well as different incarnations. So we can kind of shift our perspective using this energy. So with the energy of this card as well, this is what gave me the feeling like, okay, you guys were very gifted children. You may have not noticed, but as you were going about your life, a lot of these connections were influencing you. So for example, if you had imaginary friends as a kid, those were probably actual spirits. I do feel that you were surrounded with very positive energy, because we have the number 7 here, which it's just such a happy and lucky kind of number. That's how I see it. And I kind of see, it's like you had like ancestors, you had deceased loved ones who were around you, but you also just had like spirits who were passing by through Earth, because they knew that you could see them and they knew that you were there. And so that was kind of fun for them, because most humans don't really pick up on that kind of stuff. And you know how you might make funny little faces to a baby, or play peekaboo, or little things like that, just to make the baby smile and laugh. Like, this was the kind of energy that you had around you. So ever since you were very little, I think spirits look at you in a very endearing and adorable way, and they like to do little things to make you smile. And you may even find that this is the case even as you're older. Whenever you have a little moment of luck in your life, like something just turns out right, or something happens that just makes you smile or laugh to yourself, that's probably the spirits around you conspiring little things to bring joy into your life. So I think earthbound spirits really like you, and you have a strong connection to them. So actually, one of your gifts may be that you're a powerful medium. Like you could, if there's any spirits that are stuck here on earth, you could, you know, talk to them and figure out why that is and maybe help them cross over to the other side. Or if somebody wants to communicate with their incarnate loved one who's just not picking up on them, then maybe you can help them relay that message, you know, like that person's, maybe that's why you get like details about strangers, because spirits are trying to be like, that's my grandson or something, and they want you to like go and relay them a message. Not that you're gonna do that because that's super weird, but you have that ability to do so. And if you ever wanted to do something professionally with your spiritual gifts, you may be a very powerful medium. I think that likely you were also able to see like the auras of people in your life, like when you were little, or what entities were hanging around them. And had a very, maybe you didn't realize that it was your past life and you just thought of it as a memory, because I don't know if little kids really have the sense of, I was previously incarnated somewhere else, but they just have the memories and don't question them. So like for another example, if you were playing with your friends and you think you're like playing pretend or playing a make-believe game. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna be the queen and you be the servant and let's play like that. And this is actually coming from your past life. Like you once were a queen in your past life and your friend was once a servant. So you might think you're just playing a game, but it's like you're actually connected to the memory of your past life. And I feel like you may have even freaked out some adults in your life sometimes with comments that you make. Perhaps you bring up a deceased relative that you have no way of knowing about, or you say like, I don't want to go in there because there's a really tall shadowy man in there, or you know, you say things like that thinking that everybody can see it. And they're like, what the heck are you talking about? You know, or talking about past life experiences where you're discussing like adult matters that there's no way little kids should know. Probably things like that. I wonder if some of you, I do feel that many of you have likely kept these gifts over time, but with this card that is encouraging you to share your gifts freely with the world, I wonder if some of you have been like discouraged from doing so over time, because I do feel that many of us were super open to our gifts when we're younger, and then, you know, as we get older we kind of close off. And I feel like there may be some people in this group who were kind of dismissed. You guys are like hypersensitive to energies. So the example I'm being shown is like, if there was some adult in your life that had super crusty energy, like very dark energy around them, and then you didn't want to like go near them, or you didn't want to hug them, or you didn't want to be like around that person, and then maybe your parents said like, that's rude, you know, you should be nice to them, like why don't you want to go near them, like that kind of thing. Or, you know, if you were afraid at night because there was some like spirit around you and they're like, oh, there's no such thing as monsters, or whatever they said to you, things like that, that over time you would grow up to think like, oh, well, maybe it was just all in my imagination. I think some of you may have gone through something like that, and this card is here to encourage you to open up to that part of you again. With this Nourish card over here, this is a card that makes me think of light workers, with this light being coming down to earth, and the water that is coming up here, this is like emotions, sensitivity, intuition. I think another reason you may have, it's not like you lost the gifts, but maybe forgotten about them over time, is because the world that we live in is not so kind to those of us who are very emotional or very sensitive. Like it's seen as a weakness, and we're supposed to be like tough and strong and resilient, which is so dumb because the two are not mutually exclusive. Like you can be very, very emotional and very sensitive and sentimental and spiritual, and also be like strong and tough as nails. And it, like, for some reason, a lot of people still, and maybe all of us, like unconsciously to some extent, see it as like a dichotomy where it's like you're either a little crybaby or you're tough. But you know, some crybabies are like the toughest people I know. I think it takes a lot of strength and courage to show that side of you in this world. So maybe just growing up in a society like that, and it will also depend on like the country or the culture that you guys grew up in. I know we have people from like all over watching, but I think that some places could be even more strict like that. You know, like you shouldn't display your emotion in public, or, you know, you shouldn't show your vulnerability or weakness. So it could be varying for you guys, but that may be another factor where you've started to kind of forget about your gifts. And what I'm seeing is that there's like a direct correlation between your emotional sensitivity and your psychic gifts. So it's like, if you stifle one, you stifle the other. If you don't allow yourself to experience your full range of emotions and be like soft and sensitive, closing that channel is also going to close the channel to your gifts, if that makes sense. And I think this opal is also coming out to encourage you, because this is the card that amplifies your emotions. It amplifies your individuality and makes you more confident in yourself. So she's definitely here to encourage you. For some, I'm feeling like somehow this opal represents a deceased loved one who is watching over you. I see kind of like a grandmother sort of figure. Maybe she has opal as her birthstone, or if you have opal with you, she will be close to you. But I'm just weirdly like connecting this to a person who's with you. Okay, where was I? So light worker, you're helping the world to replenish and to restore our relationship with our emotions and with our sensitivity. So by you exposing that part of yourself and not feeling guilty about it and saying like, this is who I am, it will start a ripple effect in the world. Obviously, like, we can't expect you to change the whole world, but if everybody slowly starts to wake up and embrace themselves, it will eventually make a ripple effect that touches the whole world. And I do feel that you are a very important part of this. Over here with Sweat Lodge, so the idea of this card is like detox and cleansing and purification, because if you think of sweating, it's like you're releasing toxins from your body. And interestingly, I feel like every pile so far has had some message about clearing away negativity, like having a gift to do that, as I think we all do, but everybody kind of has their own unique way of doing it. So it's been really interesting to see, like, from pile to pile, what your unique way of cleansing energy and healing energy is. And so with you guys, because you have this ability of like jumping between dimensions and jumping between incarnations, if somebody is struggling, like they have some negative energy with them that they can't seem to let go, and it could be manifesting as an emotion, it could be manifesting as a physical ailment, or they just have a blockage in their life, you would have the ability to like go and directly ask their spirit guide, like, what's going on? How can I help this person? Because I think one of your like unique missions is to help people who are like totally closed off to that kind of guidance. And their guides are like kind of, what would you call it? Exasperated is too strong of a word, but they're like, what can we do? I've been trying to tell this person like this, and this. I've been trying to send them signs and they're just not seeing it. And then they're like, you can see, go tell them. So you have the ability to go and ask the higher beings, like, what does this person need? How can I help them? And give treatment. That's okay, sure. Give treatment that is specific to that person. So it's not like if you were offering spiritual services, for example, you may not do the same thing for everybody. It's like you ask their spirit guides or their higher self specifically, what is it that this person needs? Or like, why is this happening? Or you may be able to even go in and see their past life like a fly on the wall and be like, oh, okay, so this is happening in your life right now because of this experience in your past life that I'm being shown. And then you have the ability to heal that. The number 9 here, 18 adding up to 9, this is a number of healing and ascension. And how can I describe it? This is going to sound kind of weird because of the way time works over here. But it's like, if somebody has some wound or some blockage and they don't know why, it's like you're able to go into the past life and see their past life self and heal them, and then it affects them in the present. You know? It sounds kind of strange, but like that's the way time is. It's like all happening at the same time, and if you do something over here, it's going to affect the present, it's going to affect the future. You can probably do it the other way around too, but I'm not trying to break my brain right now, so that's like the easiest way for me to see. You're likely able to do this like within this incarnation as well. Like you can heal people's child self and then it will affect them now. But you can kind of jump through the time frames like this and jump through the dimensions like this. And with this abundance and structure here, I really feel that for many of you, your spiritual gifts are like a viable career, because abundance means you're making money. And structure means you have structure in your life. You have structure and stability. These two cards together, they even kind of remind me of like the 10 of Pentacles, because it's like you have stability in your life and all of your material needs are met. All of this water that's overflowing from the cups, and even these eyes that are crying. I feel like there's so many people who have emotions stored in their body. And I feel like if you work with people, they will just like burst into tears. They will have the same way you feel like messages from spirits as physical sensations. When you heal people, they will have like a physical reaction. So you can help them to release negativity by like crying. Maybe they start crying a lot, or maybe they start sweating a lot, or maybe they start shaking or something like that. And that is the energy moving through their body, and that's the energy leaving their body. I could even look at this image as you guys like, whoo, like directing energy with your hands, like leave this person, go away. You like go in and find the root of it, and then you can dislodge it. Wow. And yeah, I think you guys more than the other piles are being encouraged, if you already had thought about it, to pursue this as a career. Because you could, I mean, obviously you're going to help a lot of people, but you could really make a stable living for yourself using these gifts. Did I spit on the card? Oh my God, sorry. All right, so let's move on now to the tarot. Yes, the tarot part of this reading. So we are going to look at these cards now and see if there's anything else that you should know about your spiritual gifts. So the first card that we have is the 10 of Cups. Damn it, I should have said this reminded me of the 10 of Cups. That would have been like, ooh, synchronicity. But anyway, this is definitely confirmation to me that you guys are... This looks like Lisa. Doesn't it look like Lisa from Blackpink? Is it just me? I feel like I'm always saying people on the cards look like somebody, but I feel like it does. Okay, well, anyway, this is confirmation to me that you guys are incredibly emotional and sensitive souls, and you are meant to show that in its fullest. You are not meant to hide that. And normally in this card, we would see a rainbow on the 10 of Cups, and I do just want to talk about that even though it's not here. But the rainbow makes me think of people showing their true colors, and it also makes me think of like, you know, the vast spectrum of emotions that we have. Just like a rainbow is a wide spectrum of all different colors, we have so many different emotions within us, and it sucks that in this world, like there's some that we are allowed to show and there's some that we aren't, and that we even have people who say like, oh, I'm sorry for feeling this way, or I know I shouldn't feel this way, or I don't have a right to feel this way. It's like, we're here to completely change that. We are here to burst open our rainbow spectrum and let everything show. Like sadness, anger, fear, joy, like pure, unadulterated joy. We're here to show all of it. And we can only be happy once we're allowed to show that full spectrum. We can't be happy if we're only allowed to show the positive emotions as ironic as that might be. And what I'm getting with this card as well, because this is also a card that can talk about like love and marriage and your spouse and things like that. I think your romantic partner, your romantic soulmate will be somebody like you who is also very, very like sentimental, very, very sensitive. And so like they get it. And the message here is like, you guys don't have to change anything about yourself or the way you express your emotions to connect to others or to find love. Like you really should, I don't know why I keep saying burst open, but you really should burst your heart open. And there's something about you, I think, that makes people feel comfortable to open up in that way around you and to just let it all out and to feel like it's okay. The next card is Seven of Crystals. This is the Seven of Pentacles, and we have the chakra symbols on each of the, well, you can't really see the smaller ones, but I imagine because there's 7 of them. So you guys might be gifted at chakra healing and chakra activation as well. Going back to that message of you guys being able to like pick up information about strangers, you might be able to meet somebody and you recognize like, oh, that person has a very strong blank chakra, or that person needs a little bit of work on their blank chakra. And it's interesting that I wanted to talk about the rainbow, like when it came to this card, because the chakras do form a rainbow. So you might be very sensitive to like colors that are around you. Like if you keep, it doesn't have to be crystals, but if you keep objects, clothing, even food of a certain color with you, it will enhance your chakra. It's like you're more susceptible to that. So you guys might really want to like pay attention to the items that you have in your house, like even the color you paint your house and the clothing that you wear. And you can kind of like mix it up to suit what you want to enhance for that day. And I feel like anybody can do this, but your being like responds to this easier. So if you are gonna go to like an interview and you want to be able to speak really well, then you might wear like, you know, a blue shirt or have a blue crystal on you, and your body's just gonna pick up on it like that and suddenly be like, blue is the throat chakra, by the way. You're just gonna be like a super strong and powerful talker. And if you guys wanted to, like if you see somebody's really struggling with their root chakra, for example, I feel like you guys could, what would you call it? Cast, maybe? You guys could cast like a red light on them or envelope them in a red light, and you would be able to heal their chakra in this way. Some of you guys might have synesthesia, which is like really random specific message, but this is where you can see sounds. It may actually not necessarily be those 2 senses, but when 2 of your physical senses are connected in a weird way. So like you can hear sounds or you can taste words or weird things like that. So you might be able to work with music. Like if somebody is struggling then with their heart chakra, which is green, you could play for them like green music because you know what is green music because you can see the sound, if that makes sense. So you can work with chakras, you can work with colors in this way, which is really cool. The next one that you guys have is the Knight of Wands. I'm gonna go ahead and look at, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and look at the last one. So you have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Crystals. And I'm actually wondering if these are 2 spirits who are with you, because I sometimes see knights that way, like spirit guides. Are they ancestors? No, they're just spirit guides. They haven't been incarnated with you. One of them is very practical and grounded and down to earth, and one of them is very like playful and funny. And I also think, yeah, the Knight of Wands is like the go big, very big with the signs, very obvious, very probably the louder of the 2. And the Knight of Crystals is the more like laid back and practical and cautious. It's funny because these are pretty different energies. So you guys might get like mixed messages sometimes, because this one really wants you to just like go crazy and go big and go for it. Whereas the Knight of Crystals is more of like a careful energy, I think. But you know what? I think I think when it comes to them, probably usually the right guidance is somewhere in the middle. So it kind of works out. Like you just listen to both of them. Like, what does this guy want me to do? And what does this guy want me to do? And then you can find like the healthy path in the middle. Or you may want to call on them for different areas of your life. Like you guys have many different gifts, and there may be one guide who is, best at helping you with one kind of thing, and one guide who is best at helping you with another kind of thing. But I feel like they're appearing here because they want to get further acquainted with you, or they want you to get to know them and how they can help you better. So maybe if you guys haven't already, after this reading, or whenever you feel like doing it, of course, maybe ask them to come forward to you. I'm sure that they will tell you like what their name is and what kind of things they can help you with, because like I said, I feel like their energy is quite different. So if you're asking like both of them for guidance in every situation, that could get confusing. So maybe assign like, I'm going to come to you when it comes to this, and I'm going to come to you when it comes to this. And this might be helpful for you guys who have been confused about what you should do, or like you struggle when it comes to getting clear guidance. Ooh, I have like hiccups coming up. You just need to discern like, who am I talking to, and who should I ask? And then everything should clear up pretty easily for you guys. All right, so these are all the messages that I have for you. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely check out Kim's video as well. If you feel called to, it will be linked down below. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number 4s, so if you guys were drawn to this shell, this is going to be your reading. So we're going to start off by taking a look at your oracle cards, and then we'll get into your tarot cards so that we can see what your strongest spiritual gifts are. So let's get right into it. Your first oracle card is the third eye chakra with the message, the frequency of the third eye chakra, the indigo flower of life, supports our intuition and our inner knowing, our imagination, and our psychic powers. For your crystal, we have azurite, inward revolution, storyteller, use your power to bring this world love and peace. And finally, we have boundaries and self-care. Okay, so the first thing that I want to mention with all of these cards is that there is very, very strong symbolism of your third eye here. Of course, the very first card that came out is pretty obvious. It's literally the third eye card. But even in the following cards, azurite, for example, and storyteller, we have this beautiful indigo color that is matching to the third eye. The azurite card even has an eye on it, as you can see up here, so that matches as well. And then even your inward revolution card has the number 42, which reduces to 6. And as you guys can see, this is the number that's on the third eye chakra card, because the third eye is the 6th chakra. So for me, like, all 4 of the first cards are relating to the third eye. So this is clearly like your strongest spiritual gift here. So as we took a look at with the first card, this means that you guys have a very strong intuition and strong psychic powers. You also have a very powerful imagination. So what this tells me right off the bat is that you guys know what's up. You know the truth of situations, even if it's not appearing that way in the 3D, or even if you can't perceive it with your 5 senses. So For example, you might know the future outcomes of certain events. You're able to predict the future, even though there is nothing that you can like speculate from in the 3D, if that makes sense. Like there's no proof, there's no evidence, there's no reason why you should know this. It's just a feeling that you get. I know that this is going to happen in the future, or I know that I'm going to have this connection with this person, or that this person is going to take this action or treat me in this way. You just get that feeling. You just know. It's like you have some sneak peek behind the veil of what is going on. And I think that it's very difficult for people to deceive you, because if somebody is being insincere or somebody is being dishonest with you, like something just goes off right away and you know that that person is lying. So I would say that you guys have a gift of claircognizance, because it's like there's nothing that would give you that information in the physical world around you. It's just a deep inner knowing that comes to you. And with this inward revolution card, you guys may find that like often you can trust your own judgment more. You can trust what your inner voice is telling you rather than what you see on the outside. Like your inner judgment is a much more accurate indication of what is really going on. And I would also say with the image of this eye here that you guys might have clairvoyant abilities. With the night sky here and here as well, you guys might have very powerful dreams. I'm feeling especially that you're able to see like what people's soul looks like, or what their higher self looks like. So you might have dreams about people where they don't look like they do in the 3D, but in a way it's actually a more real representation of them, because you're seeing what their astral body looks like, you're seeing what their higher self looks like. And you also have prophetic dreams, that's the word. You have prophetic dreams, but what I'm seeing for you guys is that you don't have the dreams in a literal way. So for example, that I'm coming up with off the top of my head, let's say you have a dream that there is like a baby bird and you just know that this baby bird is your friend, even though it doesn't look like your friend. And then the baby bird goes into a cocoon and comes out as a giant dove. And so you have this dream and you might think like it was nonsense, but there's actually a deeper meaning to it. And then later that day, your friend tells you that they are leaving their job and they're moving to bigger and better things. So even though it seemed like just weird things that you were seeing, it was actually a symbolism of your friend going through a metamorphosis and going through a transformation. So that's something for you guys to remember. Even if you feel like your dreams are nonsense, I promise you that they're not. I promise you that they are deeply symbolic and they're trying to tell you something. And in your dreams, you can see people for as they truly are, because you don't just see their physical body, but you see their energy. So you guys have a really good sense for like people's true character or people's true colors. That's one of your gifts. And then I also think that future predictions are like really, really strong for you guys. Another gift that you guys have actually comes from your intellect. The stone azurite, it helps us with our memory, it helps us with focus and concentration and just to feel more sharp in our mind. And that may not really seem like a spiritual gift, but I feel for you guys that it does come from your soul. So you have like a very bright soul who is eager to learn, who is eager to absorb information. Some of you guys may actually be here just like visiting to see what Earth is all about, and you're here to like get as much data or get as much information as you can, and your like mental processing is on another level compared to the humans that are living here. So you guys might really excel like in academics, or at the very least when you're passionate about something, you can really, really absorb all of that information. And I feel like your third eye is going to help you out in some times when you're in a pinch. For example, if your human self didn't study for a test, you can just go in and your third eye is going to help you out. Like, oh yes, this answer is C, this answer is B. So you're just getting that information without having to study or observe it in the 3D. I'm also thinking you guys are probably the type, like obviously you watch readings because you're watching this one right now, but maybe you guys are the type where you just watch it for confirmation because it feels good to have the information that you already know relayed back to you. And I don't really see you guys approaching it from a place of like, I don't know the answer and I need the answer. And if you are approaching it like that, I want to tell you that you guys can be a lot more confident in what you feel on the inside, because with this inward revolution, what you feel and what you sense on the inside is going to be the most accurate, like every time. So if you guys are ever like watching a reading, whether it's general or personal or whatever it is, and some of the information feels off to you, I would say that like 9 times out of 10, or maybe more than that, it's that like the reader's energy is off and you guys actually know what's best. So don't feel like you have to say, oh, maybe I'm wrong and I should listen to what that person is saying, because your inner compass, like, it's on point all the time. So moving on now to the next row, we have storyteller here, and there's a couple things that are coming to me with this card. One of them is that you guys might be an amazing channel, and more specifically, like rather than channeling like people who have crossed over or things like that, it's like you are channeling more advanced beings. And actually maybe you are one of these advanced beings and that's why you have such psychic abilities, and that's why you have this lightning quick and sponge-like intellect. I feel like you are from a civilization that is light years ahead of us. Like, I can't even describe the kind of technology or advancements that you guys have. It's like a very modern society. I'm not really sure where it is, but it's not Earth. And you guys are just way ahead of us, way smarter, way more compassionate. And so you are able to directly relay messages from this civilization. That's like the best word that's coming to me that I can describe it. But I guess it could be your starseed origin. I am noticing there's a star behind the eye. There's a star shooting through the sky here. And we are under a starry sky in this image as well. But you're able to relay truths to us, you're able to bring guidance to us, and you're also able to bring like your prophetic visions of the future to us. And this is coming to you from these advanced beings. So channeling is a gift for you guys, definitely. And then the other thing that I thought of with this storyteller, because the third eye chakra was talking about your very rich imagination. Some of you guys may be very talented writers. And I don't know if this is something that you have explored yet, but I'm thinking of storyteller in the most literal sense, that you make very captivating, engaging, interesting stories. If you guys are pursuing a career as like a writer or a novelist, or even like you want to be in film or something that gets, you know, a story across, I feel like you guys are definitely on the right path. If you haven't considered that yet, maybe it is something that you want to consider. Oh my gosh, a lot of stuff is coming to me, but you might actually channel what appears to be as a fictional story, but it's actually something that your soul has experienced before. And I feel like you guys would be especially good at like fantasy or science fiction, because the places your soul has been, to us, it's like so unreal, it's so magical, it's so ethereal, and it will seem to us like, wow, this person is a genius at creating like science fiction and fantasy. But for your soul, it's like, oh yeah, these are just stories from back home, like when I went to this planet with my buddy. And it will just like come out of you. And I feel like earthlings, us mortals, will really get immersed in the story and really appreciate it. So that might be something that you guys want to explore. But there was another message that was coming to me while I was talking about that, because I noticed the coils on this card, which are kind of reminding me of DNA. This may sound kind of out there or woo-woo to some of you, but there is a theory that we have a lot of, well, actually, maybe it's not a theory, but it's said that we have a lot of dormant DNA in our bodies. And then the theory with that is if you activate them, you can access your more superhuman abilities. You may even be able to like make changes to your physical appearance. So that might be something that you guys are capable of. If that doesn't seem too out there for you to explore, that might be something that you want to keep in mind as well. So finally, I want to talk about the boundaries and the self-care card. These cards actually go pretty well together. And what I'm feeling with this is that there were a couple groups where it seemed like they were being encouraged to really share their gifts with others and even pursue it as a career. And while I do think that your gifts can help you in your career, because I feel like you guys are very, very smart, you have a way of just knowing what is going to happen, which could help you in a number of careers. Like just for a couple examples, like if you're a judge, you can just tell who is guilty, or if you are a doctor, you can just tell what's wrong with the patient. I'm sure it can help in so many more careers, but those are just the two that came to the top of my head. So it's like you are using your gifts in your career, but you're not necessarily selling yourself as like a psychic or an oracle or a channel, or even in the example of you guys being a writer, that's not necessarily advertising your psychic gifts, if you know what I mean. Like you have a 3D job as a 3D person and you just happen to be helped by your psychic gifts. I do really feel with this card, use your power to bring this world love and peace, that you are meant to use your gifts in this world. But I think you just have to be careful when it comes to revealing the extent of them, because you could have many people demanding a lot from you, or many people who even feel entitled to your gifts. Like, if you know this answer, then you have to tell me. So I would just be careful with that. Luckily, it's never happened to me, but I have heard stories of like readers or of psychics who kind of get like, what is the word, badgered? They kind of get badgered, like, you have to help me, you have to give me these answers. And if you guys are really compassionate, it might be hard to say no to those people, and it might eventually drain your physical body. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself. And then another thing with this boundaries is like, you may not even always want to use these gifts for yourself. And I was just kind of talking about this in a reading that I was filming the other day, but when we're here on this physical plane, it's like sometimes if you peek behind the curtain too much, like if you look beyond that veil too much, it takes a little bit of the magic away from your 3D experience. Like if you already knew the end outcome of everything that you were gonna do, I feel like it can kind of cheapen the experience. Like you're not having the same experience as you go through it if you already know everything that's going to happen. It's kind of like watching a movie that's already been spoiled, I guess would be one way to look at it. Or sometimes there's just things that you don't want to see. There's some ugly truths out there that maybe are better left untouched. So you might want to establish some boundaries with this gift as well. Figure out how you can turn it on or off. Grounding is a great way to do this, or earthing, I believe it's called, putting your bare feet in the ground. This is something I do to come back to earth. Also, a kind of dumb one that I do is I like physically draw an X on my forehead with my finger. I'm not saying that my third eye is as crazy as you guys, or that I'm like anywhere near this level. But like after reading, I tend to just like push on my forehead or even draw an X to be like, okay, we're done now, we're turning this off. Otherwise I can start like overheating and I can feel very agitated. So make sure that you're able to like turn this off and take care of yourself and just be a human on earth, and allow yourself to go through the experience of like, ooh, I don't know what's happening, and so that you can like enjoy it as you go, if you know what I mean. Okay, so this concludes the oracle card section of this reading. So we're going to take a look at your tarot cards now and see what else you guys need to know about your gifts. So the first card that we have here is transformation. This is related to Scorpio energy. I feel like you guys are incredibly resilient, and you have this way of coming out of challenging times or even coming out of traumatic times. Not like you're coming out unscathed, but it's like you can come out undefeated. You can come out stronger. You can come out transformed. You guys have this innate ability, and I would say that it is a gift to see every experience that happens to you as a gift, as a blessing, as an opportunity to learn. And you're always growing and evolving from the things that happen, not going through life passively or feeling like a victim or feeling powerless. You guys are strong. And I feel like you might reinvent yourself many times throughout your life. It's like you're constantly, like, what is it called? Dismantling yourself and building yourself back up again. I'm just having a moment where I very seriously spaced out. Yes, so you are powerful, you have regenerative abilities, you are constantly changing, constantly evolving. I feel like, and this might sound kind of out there, but I feel like you guys are here from a more advanced place to help transform Earth. After spacing out for a bit, I feel like this is the energy that we are dealing with. The next card for you guys is the 8 of Crystals. So this is another confirmation to me that whatever you guys are doing for a living, it is definitely going to be helped by your spiritual abilities. Again, I'm not sure if you guys are directly involving yourself in spiritual work. This is certainly not to say that you can't. I just think that if you do, you will have to be quite careful and have healthy boundaries. But for most of you, I do see you in a more like practical or 3D job and just being helped out by your psychic abilities, because this card is about like being very skilled or being a master at what you do. We also have this card that says you're using your power, and both of these cards have number 8s on them, and this is a number about success, like professional success, as well as money and abundance. So these gifts are going to bring you money in some way or another. And I'm even thinking with this card that this could be talking about you being very gifted with crystals, because we can see here she's like holding the crystal in her hand and looking at it. So you might be able to perform healing with different kinds of crystals. You may be very good at charging them as well. You know, often we will charge our crystals out in the full moon, or we will cleanse them. And I feel like you are the thing. You are the thing that cleanses and charges them. So you could like hold a crystal in your hand and you can completely clear away its energy, or you can charge it with new energy. And I also think, again, might sound kind of out there, but I think that you can communicate with crystals, because each different type of crystal has its own consciousness, has its own entity, its own personality that is within it. So, you know, for example, Azurite has its own consciousness, and Chalcedony has its own consciousness, and you're able to speak to them and learn firsthand about their qualities and how they would like to help you and how you can employ them. You may have a very good intuitive knowing, like, oh, if you're struggling with XYZ in your life, you need to have this crystal. And when it comes to your dream work, like having your very vivid or prophetic dreams, keeping crystals around you, you might respond really well to that. So if you keep one under your pillow, for example, or you can even sleep with it like clutched in your hand or something, this will really, really enhance your powers. Like, you respond well to the energy of the crystals. The next card is the 7 of Wands, and so interestingly, we have 2 cards with tigers in them. So this might be an important spirit animal for you guys. It might be a sign that you see, which is a message from your guides. Tigers are all about personal power. And I'm also thinking of like tiger's eye, because we were just talking about crystals, and tiger's eye is a stone that ensures success and confidence and advancement in your career. So I know this is a reading about like spiritual gifts, but I just want to confirm to you guys that you will be very, very successful in your career. Whatever it is that you're doing, you will be divinely supported, so that not only do you have the level of success that you want, but you have the level of material wealth and material possessions that you want to enjoy in this life. And I feel that many of you guys, you may be like a leader in what you do. So you may be like leading a team, like managing a group of people, or you are somebody who is like the leading person in your field, like you're one of the best. Actually, I'm very, very sure of that because you guys are so brilliant. You will definitely be like one of the top dogs in your field. When we're discussing the greatest of this field, it's like your name always comes up. And you could also be a leader by example. So many people see what you're doing and they aspire to be like that. They want to be like you, because your soul has this energy of being like progressive, modern, more advanced, way ahead of Earth. This is really the vibe that you guys have. I think you really have the power to do things that have never been done before, or to bring like a new, fresh kind of energy into whatever industry you're in. You can think of yourself as being like 3 seasons ahead in fashion. So everybody is like wanting to chase and emulate what you're doing because you're like the next best thing. You guys actually might have a gift at, yeah, obviously, because you can predict the future. You have a gift of like predicting trends. So like what kind of art is going to be popular, what business is going to boom, so that you know that you can invest into that business. Like what's going to be in fashion, what is going to happen in the government, and how can I prepare for that? You guys have an eye out. Like you're always ahead of the game. You're ahead of the pack for sure. Okay, but let's talk about the Seven of Wands. Yes, this is a card about choosing your battles, and I think that this matches well with boundaries. I definitely think that you don't want to be using these gifts in all areas of your life, and that might be something that you just learn through experience, that you learn through doing. For instance, sometimes you might think, oh, I kind of wish I didn't know this outcome beforehand and I had just gone through the experience and learned it myself. Or maybe one day when you're snooping with your third eye, you see something that you don't want to see, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I definitely think with this card that you will learn it through doing, because the Seven of Wands is like a fight. It's a tough situation, and you kind of have to get through. It's like learning things the hard way. It's kind of how I am seeing it. So over time, I think you'll be able to figure out like what your boundaries need to be with these gifts. And it's not that you can't use them, it's that you might just choose not to, because as much as you are this advanced being, you're also like a human right now, and you do want to have a human experience, you know? You want to try to be grounded on earth and be a human as much as you can, because this is only temporary, right? So as much as you have your mission to transform planet Earth, you know, it's kind of like how a celebrity wants to still have like a normal life and stay out of the limelight and just be a normal person and spend time with their family. They don't always want to be like their famous self. So sometimes you might just want to shed all of this and just be like an asleep person walking through the world, and you should allow yourself to do that. This card is like, choose your battles. You don't have to be on all the time. And then the final card that we have is the Ace of Swords. This is another card that I associate with the third eye and with claircognizance and clairvoyance. You guys might actually have clairaudience as well, where not only can you channel messages from spirits, but you can actually directly hear them speaking to you. So I think that you would have the option to choose if it's like you want to directly speak through them, or no, I always do that wrong. If you want them to directly speak through you, or if you want to hear what they're saying and relay it. you can do either, but the Ace of Swords is like very clear and direct communication. It can represent like intuitive hits and downloads. So, I mean, we've seen this throughout the reading that you're definitely very, very strongly connected, and you can relay these messages in many different ways. And again, with this like choose your battles, it's really, really up to you guys how you use these gifts and how often you want to use them and to what extent you want to use them. And that will take some time to figure out, because I feel like sometimes when we're just starting to develop our gifts, we don't really know how to like turn them on and off. And so we can get completely flooded and overwhelmed with these messages coming from this channel that has opened up. And, you know, it's tough at first. It's definitely tough to like harness the power of them, but you figure it out over time. You'll figure out like what's the best way for you to turn them off, whether it's just setting an intention or whether it's earthing, whatever it is for you guys, you'll figure it out as you go along. And like it sounds kind of unsettling for me to say you'll learn it the hard way, but it's like you will learn through experience, like what works and what doesn't work. Because I just feel like with these strong gifts coming through like a physical vessel, you'll just have to be extra mindful of them. Yes. So these are all the messages that I'm seeing for you guys. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely check out Kim's video as well. If you guys feel called to, it will be linked down below. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!